What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to episode 2 of OBS. Today we're going to talk about scenes. So we talked about OBS, we did the layout of OBS, and we slightly touched on what a scene was. In this video, we're going to get more in depth. What I did is I put the scenes up here right next to the video screen so that when we're working on stuff, we can show it much easier without having it all over the screen. Scenes are your building blocks. It's just like when you're working on, say, a movie or anything like that. They put all their little poster boards up and like lay out everything and say, hey, we're going to do this and then that. As you look at this, you can see I've got one called blank. What I do is I start with blank. I'll hit the start streaming button. I'll let my OBS normalize with a few little frames missed, skipped frames. It usually happens in the very beginning when you first start. It's almost like I think when it's initializing and getting a connection to Twitch that it's like a little bit behind or something. I don't know why it does in the beginning, but it always seems to do that. So what I do is I start that way, let it run for about 10 seconds, and then I'll actually go to the next scene. So the next scene will be my starting scene. This lets me do all of my prep work. Like I'll be setting up the green screen behind me. I'll be setting up my lighting. I'll be doing all of those things. It allows me to get everything done and prepared for the actual stream. Also, it lets people trickle into your stream and get ready for you to start going. As I'm building my building blocks, I kind of said, hey, I'm going to need a blank screen. I need a starting screen. I need my BRB, so be right back screen. You need your ending screen. So within the aspect of scenes, the easiest thing to do is when you're getting started is to right click and say add or hit the plus sign at the bottom. There's actually a plus sign and a minus sign. And then there's the up and down arrow. So literally up and down arrow just shifts things around in your order. The other thing too is if you don't like seeing it in a linear list like we saw, you can actually do it in grid mode. But that's going to be your normal to add your scenes, right? So you got add, you can duplicate one. So say you have all your items you want and you're going to do a special event or something like that and you want to change stuff out slightly, duplicate it. Now you have your original, rename the new one, do whatever you want to do to that. You can also copy the filters that you have at the scene level and paste those filters over to another scene if you wanted to. Rename, remove, that's pretty self-explanatory. The move up, move down is the same thing as the arrows at the bottom. Full screen projector scene. This is good in an instance where I first started, right? I had two PCs. I had a 2K monitor with a 1080p capture card. Well, the problem is Elgato, if you have that, will downscale your screen to 1080, which is fine, but you have to do it really weird if you want to be able to play the games at 2K and then downscale it. It doesn't do that in the software because Elgato basically gives you another monitor. Your other monitor would have to be mirrored of your gaming monitor. So in this scenario, I took OBS on my gaming PC, made a scene where it was just capturing that main game window, right? My gaming PC, gaming monitor. And then I full screen projected it to my Elgato capture card. So yeah, you could actually send it to that Elgato source if you're not mirroring. And then whatever's on your gaming monitor at 2K, it's automatically downscaling it when it sends it across. That's the best way that I found to do it. And that's the only time I've ever used a full screen projector. You might be using that if you're on a single PC, maybe. Windows, pretty self-explanatory. It's just going to pop it up in a small little window. Screenshot's good for when you're working on stuff. We already talked about the filters and we already talked about grid mode. When you're building your layouts, right, or you're building your idea of what you need for your stream, just think of like all the different interactions or all the different things you might do from the point you start to the point you end, right? Having all these different ones helps, right? And then you could put all of the sources, which we'll cover in episode 3, then you can put all the sources on to build it the way you want it to look, right? So as you can see on this screen here, this is my starting screen. I have an intro video playing, all my social media stuff laid out. I got a timer to let them know when the stream's gonna actually start. I got my logo with some animation, everything. You could literally put anything you want within each each layout. I have one right here for when I get a new follower. I want to actually acknowledge the new follower and say, hey, welcome. A webcam will be right in front of the seat. And then I have a specific one for when I get a subscriber. That's pretty much the layout of scenes, right? Just think of what you want to accomplish, what you want to do within your streaming environment, how you want to interact and everything like that. And that's how you can label and do your different scenes. As you can see, I've actually got extra ones down here. So these are the main scenes that I use within streaming. These ones below this, I just made a scene and put like that name on it just to make a barrier, right? But anything down below here is fillers. This is in between my stream starting. I put the simply the best, and it's like the last little bit of hype right before the stream starts. So it'll go here. I use my stream deck to actually automatically switch to this screen, wait a certain amount of time till this video is over, and then when it's done, it automatically goes to my game with overlay and plays like a song. Yeah, you can pretty much build them out like that. And then I have a specific scene for my webcam, which is going to be useless right now. It's on my gaming PC, but it would basically bring up my webcam down here in the corner. This is the template, which is like a frame, right? And it's going to frame out so I can put what my game capture is onto that monitor in my follower screen. The reason why I've got certain ones like webcam normal, webcam shadow, and different things like that is there's an aspect of scenes which we haven't really touched on. If we go to game with overlay, you know, I've got ones called camera chat screen, right? And you can see camera chat screen here. So what I did is I put anytime you have the dot in the lines, these are actually scenes. So I'm actually taking these sub scenes that I built and putting them into the other scene. The reason for that, a simple thing like filters. So within filters, you can actually put filters on your sources, or you can put filters all the way at the scene. The reason for doing it at the scene would be an example like this. I have one to make my webcam be completely blanked out. So I'll just have my silhouette instead of actually seeing me. And I did that within this color correction. And all I did was adjust all the settings to make it go completely dark. By doing that, I can actually take this scene and actually add it into another scene. That way, if I did it at the webcam level, if I did it here, which you'll see my filter for the chroma key and color correction, that gets applied no matter where you use this source. So if you do the filter at the scene level, now you can actually use the same thing like a webcam, and in one scene you can have it normal like this, and then one scene you can have it silhouetted. So that's the embedding aspect of scenes. One of the features we didn't discuss or talk about is which we'll touch base I think in episode 6, is the filters. We got plugins and filters like this one called Motion. What that will actually do, it'll actually move it around the scene. So you could do that. Filter only works at the scene level. So again, layered cake, right? You can embed it all, and then everything, top to bottom, everything at the top is going to be up at the highest level and then down to the lowest level. The different things, there's a transition override they just added. I'll have to check. I think this is a plugin as well, but it'll actually allow you, instead of having one transition for your every scene, you can actually override it and assign a specific one, which is awesome. Duplicate, we got add scenes. So it pretty much covers all the basis within scenes. Again, layered cake, build them based on whatever your needs are within your stream. That's all there is within scenes. I think once we get into sources, it's going to be a little bit more in depth on all the different aspects. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 2. Episode 3, it will be on sources, and we're going to go in detail about every bit of the sources. If you enjoyed the video, please smash that like, that subscribe if you can, and then add your comments down below. Let me know if you want to see more on scenes, or anything I might have missed on scenes, or any other content you guys are looking for. Maybe a different streaming software. We'll catch you all next time. Bye, everyone.